Hey guys, my name is Brandon and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you like what you see in here, you're more than welcome to hit the subscribe button so you stay notified every time I upload a new video. Okay, let's get straight on with today's video. Hey everyone and welcome back to Is That More Brandon. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing a review for I'm a Celebrity 2024 episode 6. So this was Friday's episode. At the beginning of the episode, GK basically said if they have to stay down there at the junkyard another night, Maura's definitely walking. Kind of her thinking that Maura's not able to survive in that unluxurious place down there. Dean explained that his back is sore, but he didn't want Jane sleeping on the floor. He'd rather her have a bed and him, you know, sacrifice himself to be on the floor. And Danny basically said that they deserve to have a little bit of a lift in camp. Something to kind of bring the mood up a little bit. Richard and Maura received a note that they were to make their way to the trial, with Maura saying, look, if I'm going to be having to be involved in this, I'm literally not in the mood today. Anton Deck basically explained to them that they had to make out that they've just done a trial called Deadly Department Store, and that they failed the trial, and they had to come up with some weird backstory, cover themselves in tar and feathers and kind of make it look believable that they just failed a task. Maura said, look miserable, I'm starving, was basically what she said. And Richard basically said that he didn't expect to have a trial with birds, with Maura saying that the worst part was the snake. So I think at this point Danny and Dean had already come into the situation. They basically looked at Maura and Richard like, well, hello, but also what the hell has happened? So yeah, they basically said, yeah, we didn't win any stars, and they didn't seem too disappointed. But at the same time, they obviously had their own trial to face as well. So yeah, for Dean and Danny, they had to face their trial, which was obviously the Deadly Shop or whatever it was called. And they basically had 3 little shops to go into, 3 stars to win in the first 2 and 4 stars to win in the last. So up first was the Grim Grocers. So there was literally boxes with just vegetables and meats and fish guts and the rest of it. And they had to try and find 3 stars in 3 minutes. Danny managed to find 2. And Dean was trying to look through the fish guts. He just wasn't able to get his hands in deep enough. They weren't able to find the last star, and Anton Deck told them that the last star was actually in fact in the fish guts. So he was kind of in the right place, just wasn't able to, you know, search far and deep enough. The second shop was called Electrifying Electrical Store. So this was basically just covered with just shocks and beetles. Again, there was 3 stars up for grabs here, and I think Danny had to go kind of like under a sink or into like some sort of weird cabin thing to get a star, and he was having little like electric shocks on him the whole time, and Dean was like, no, I'm not doing that. And then yeah, I think he had to then jump in a box and kind of, you know, get something out of a box. So yeah, in the end there was 2 stars won in that one as well. And then the final one was called Sinister Self Storage, which was covered with pigeons, lizards and frogs. Again, I think Danny he ended up going in some crate thing to grab a star, and then Dean had to go in a different crate to grab a different star, but he actually managed to get in, and they managed to get all 4 of those stars within the 4 minutes. So 8 out of 10, decent enough meal. And then Anton Deck revealed that one of the 2 of them had to move to the junkyard to obviously live that life of unluxuriousness. And it was Richard and Maura that had to decide. They chose Dean. Maura said that he probably would love the luxury, and they basically they'll show him around. As he was walking on his way out, Dean looked at Anton Deck and whispered, kind of like mouthed, like, what have I done? Like, what am I doing? I've literally, I'm not going back to main camp. I'm going to this really weird camp that just doesn't have anything. Alan and some of the other campmates were talking about their favourite meals. So he was saying that he likes eggs Florentine, Colleen likes scrambled eggs, and both Jane and GK wondered where Dean was. GK said that she felt a little bit distraught without Dean. It's almost like they were a married couple, but obviously now that he's not there, she's kind of on her own. Maura said to Dean that obviously the only decent thing that they had was a red button, and obviously as soon as she pressed the red button, all of the luxurious things came out, and Dean basically was just like, you've got to be kidding me. And Maura said that we've not been in hell, we've been in luxury. Richard explained about the red button. Obviously when the campmates from the main camp were coming down, they had to just, you know, put everything away and look as unsuspicious as possible. And Dean said that he went to drama school and he knew it would come in handy one day. Colleen was talking to Barry about a little boxing ring she'd bought for the kids. Her dad used to be an amateur boxer, and Dean basically said to Maura that she kind of is coming across a little bit suspicious because obviously he can smell her hair and it just smells a little bit too nice. So she just had a bubble bath, so she needs to just make herself a little bit dirty, otherwise it will become suspicious. and yeah, she basically was just like, if Wagatha Christie comes down, she's definitely going to suss Dean out as well. And it was up to Oti and Jane, who were off to visit the junkyard next. Richard basically said to Jane, look, I'm sorry we're taking your Dean away from you. And Maura said, you know, imagine when we get to the other camp, I'm going to lose my bed and I'm going to lose my bubble bath. Obviously that's when they say goodbye to Jane and Oti. And for dinner, both camps had bony fish, and the main camp had the opportunity to share with the campmates in the junkyard. So you've got to think about it. Those in the junkyard, Maura, Richard and Dean, did not need extra food. They basically had food every night anyway. But if main camp were to give them a little bit of extra food, that's more meals for their junkyard buffet. Talisa said, yeah, let's give them enough for 3. And obviously, yeah, if the main camp were to give them food, they'd win more meals. Colleen and Danny went down to go and collect the dishes and obviously take down the spare food for them. And Colleen came back to the main camp and said, look, I got this look off of them and I don't feel like they're telling us the truth. Apparently Dean had the same face that Maura had yesterday, and then they're hiding something from them. Danny also said that on that trial the feathers looked fake, and they smell a little bit too nice. And Melvin said that there were too many fish guts being thrown on him in the task rather than them falling on all of them. So he kind of felt like, you know, there's something a little bit suspicious here. And Talisa said they need to ask a couple of questions for them, with Melvin saying if they want another bed, we say no. Almost kind of putting his foot down, being like, look, they've already tried it once with the extra food, the cleaning, the we don't have anything on our camp, so anything else they ask for, we're not going to give it to them. We just want to see if they can survive without it. So that is the end of episode 6. So if you did enjoy my review, don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. If you are staying on for the weekly review, then I will be with you shortly. But until my next review, thank you for watching and goodbye.